Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Peter Keller? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Peter Alex Keller was born on December 17, 1970. Lynette Keller was born on May 28, 1970. Lynette moved to Oregon, where she graduated from high school in 1989. She met Peter Keller, and the couple married. The couple had a daughter named Kayleen. When Kayleen was still young, the family moved to the state of Washington. They lived in a house on Southeast 159th Street in North Bend. This is in King County, Washington. Peter worked at a store in Preston that repaired computers. Lynette had been involved in some type of workplace accident and was unable to work full-time. She collected disability payments from the government. Kayleen graduated from high school in 2011 and enrolled in college. She also worked as a video game tester. Starting in 2004, Peter Keller embarked on an unusual mission, which he had been dreaming about since he was a teenager. He started constructing an underground bunker in the forest on Rattlesnake Ridge. He referred to this bunker as Camp Keller. The location of the building site was not easy to reach. It took about an hour to hike there from the trailhead where Peter would park his vehicle. All the materials used to construct the bunker came from the forest or had to be carried by Peter on foot. The bunker was primarily constructed of logs, but other materials were used as well, like cement. The structure extended 20 feet into a hillside, had 2 levels, and multiple hatches. In 2012, Peter Keller completed the bunker. It had taken him about 8 years. In the bunker, Peter had rifles, pistols, ammunition, scopes, body armor, a wood stove made from a metal garbage can, a water jug, bags of concrete, containers of food, and cans of gasoline. He used PVC pipes to run water into the bunker from a nearby stream, and the bunker had a ventilation system. Lynette and Kayleen were aware that Peter was working on some type of project. Later it was discovered that Kayleen had talked about how Peter took her on long hikes to stockpile supplies at a fort in the woods. It's not clear if Lynette and Kayleen knew the location of the bunker, but it is reasonable to believe they at least had a general idea of where it was. To outsiders, Peter appeared to be relatively normal. He did not stand out for any negative reason. Lynette referred to him as a great husband, and people who knew Peter described him as a loving father to Kayleen. Sometime in early April 2012, Peter recorded several videos where he was talking directly to the camera while standing in the woods. It appeared as though he was trying to explain his plans regarding the bunker and his life in general. Here is a summary of what Peter said. He talked about how, in about 2 weeks, he was going to drop out of society and fully commit to a project. He had come to terms with executing this plan, although he never stated what the plan was. Peter was moving a lot of supplies through the woods, but winter had slowed him down. He was pleased that the weather was getting better. Peter was not certain about what was going to happen in the future and was concerned that he might get caught right away. He said, quote, "I don't think anyone knows where I'm at, but if they put it together, who knows? At this point, I have to take that chance," unquote. His escape plan was dying. Peter made it clear that he was okay with that outcome. After that, he said, quote, "I'm getting to the point where I'm just trying to live and pay bills and live as a civilian and go to work. That just freaks me out. It's actually more comfortable for me to think about living out here, robbing banks and pharmacies, just taking what I want for as long as I can. At least it will be exciting. It won't be boring. And I won't have to worry about Lynette and Kayleen, and everything will be taken care of. It will just be me," unquote. Peter mentioned how he was carrying a 55-pound pack containing beans and winemaking equipment, and indicated he could last for months because he had propane, gasoline, and food. He believed the whole situation was crazy, but noted he must do it and did not question it anymore. It made more sense to him now. Peter said, quote, "Just the more I've thought about it, the more I understand it. I don't really feel bad about it. It's just the way it is. Certain things happen that cause this to happen." Unquote. Near the end of the recording, Peter talked about how he wanted to move some wood so people would not find it, like he was afraid it would give away the location of the bunker. His last video concluded with him getting ready to leave the bunker. Within a couple weeks, Peter withdrew $6,200 from his bank and told one of his coworkers that he might not be returning to work. He did not offer any explanation. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On April 22, 2012, Peter Keller used a .22 caliber Walther semi-automatic pistol to shoot his 41-year-old wife Lynette and his 18-year-old daughter Kayleen. Both of them were shot in the head and did not survive. Peter also killed his dog. After the murders, Peter placed a plastic container on the stove in the kitchen and ignited the burner. He then fled to his underground bunker in the woods. A neighbor called 911 after seeing smoke coming from the Keller house. Firefighters responded at 8:45 a.m. and quickly extinguished the flames. The fire never advanced past the kitchen. The authorities found 7 gas containers placed throughout the house and a pipe bomb. Lynette and Kayleen were found in their bedrooms. It was clear that Peter was probably the killer. An arrest warrant was issued for him. He was facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of first-degree arson. It appeared as though Peter was hoping that electronic devices and documents related to his bunker would be destroyed in the fire. For example, he left the door to his safe open. The fire did not go as planned, however, and the police were able to seize information about the bunker, including photographs and a hand-drawn plan. The police spoke to hikers who reported they had seen Peter's 1994 Toyota pickup truck at various times parked at the Rattlesnake Ridge trailhead. This gave the police a starting point in their search for Peter's underground bunker. A SWAT team was deployed to the area. They followed boot prints, which were not on the trail, and could smell smoke from a wood stove. On April 27, 2012, the authorities found the bunker. This was the beginning of a 22-hour standoff. Officers could see lights turning on and off inside the bunker. They deployed tear gas and used explosives to loosen the dirt around the bunker. On April 28, at around 10 a.m., they used a second round of explosives and gained entry into the bunker. Peter Keller was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. There was a pistol next to his body. The weapon he used to murder his family was found in the bunker as well. Investigators consider this case to be closed. Peter Keller was the killer, and he worked alone. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Peter Keller was described as having a survivalist mentality and was fearful about the apocalypse. This has led to Peter being described as a prepper, that is, a person who is preparing for the end of the world. This type of behavior runs on a continuum. Some preppers simply stockpile material like food, medicine, firearms, tools, water, and fuel. Others focus more on survival strategies and pondering the ethical dilemmas of a post-apocalyptic world. Serious preppers may involve themselves with constructing shelters, which can survive attacks from renegade groups and/or zombies. There are several different types of preppers as far as personality. Some are quite action-oriented. They tend to have mid-range to high openness to experience, mid-range to high conscientiousness, high extroversion, low agreeableness, and low neuroticism. This type of prepper is looking forward to the excitement of a post-apocalyptic world. They may have been inspired by media productions like The Walking Dead, The Postman, Zombieland, or Mad Max. Other preppers have a motivation based in fear. They tend to be low in openness to experience, low in extroversion, and high in neuroticism. With this group, symptoms of anxiety and depression are common. They are strongly averse to feeling powerless and desperately want to gain control over their lives. This type of prepper may strongly connect with movies like The Day After Tomorrow, Oblivion, Armageddon, or deep impact. Preppers of all types are significantly more likely to believe in conspiracy theories and distrust authority. They tend to be paranoid and to believe that they possess a special ability to detect danger. They were able to figure out that a disaster is coming, whereas other people are clueless and continue to live their lives without worry. When looking at the case of Peter Keller, he doesn't seem to fit very well with the typical understanding of a prepper. Peter appeared to be relatively normal to other people and did not advertise his plans. Most preppers talk to other people about what they're doing. Their lifestyle stems from an ideology, and they want to spread that ideology to others. Peter's secretive attitude set him apart from what one would expect from a prepper. Item number 2. As far as Peter's mental health, he left some clues behind as to what could have been happening. In his videos, he appeared to be despondent and talked about how he did not have anything. For instance, he mentioned not having hope and not having a personality. In one of the notes found by the police, Peter indicated how he planned to build laboratories for viruses and nanobots. This is consistent with being delusional, as it is extremely unlikely that Peter had any significant knowledge on these topics, or, even if he did, was capable of building laboratories. Peter also appeared to be motivated by an enthusiastic overcommitment to a fatalistic ideology or a delusional belief in a mysterious entity. He talked about how he just had to accept his mission. He no longer questioned its validity. It's almost like Peter was trying to blame something or someone for his behavior. He no longer had a choice. All he could do was accept his destiny. It could not be resisted. Wherever this mission came from, it appeared to be accompanied by a timeline. Peter specifically mentioned how he was running out of time. When Peter was speaking to the camera, he was talking to an audience who would not see the video until after he was dead. There is the sense that Peter believed his mission was important and that there would be a high level of interest in it after his death. The critical nature of the mission may have also been used to justify the murders of his wife and daughter. Peter made it seem as though he did not look forward to the murders. It was not something that he wanted to do. Rather, he convinced himself it was something he needed to do. Again, it was part of his supreme and unavoidable mission. Item number 3, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Peter had personality traits consistent with psychopathy and narcissism. For example, he was cold, callous, grandiose, self-centered, and believed he was special. He had mid-range openness to experience, mid-range to high conscientiousness, low extroversion, mid-range to low agreeableness, and high neuroticism. Peter was sensation-seeking, goal-oriented, and able to focus a lot of energy on one task. From an early age, he believed that he was destined for something greater, but his internal experience did not match that belief. Peter was anxious, melancholy, and was desperate to find purpose in his life. He was also angry at society for not giving him what he deserved. He managed to keep his anger hidden quite well from other people as he developed a long-term strategy for revenge and vindication. Building the bunker was Peter's purpose in life. He was going to live off the grid and be an outlaw by robbing banks and committing other crimes. The development of his plan may have been caused by delusions or simply by magical thinking. If it was magical thinking, this explains how Peter functioned so well in society. His beliefs were bizarre enough to inspire a bunker-building bonanza, but not bizarre enough to facilitate him being detected as dangerous. Constructing the bunker was satisfying for Peter because he was moving toward his goal. However, he also felt under pressure to escape society. He was eager to move to the next phase of his plan. Peter murdered his wife and daughter because they could provide information about the location of the bunker. He valued his freedom more than he valued their lives. This is consistent with his lack of empathy and a sense of entitlement. The attempt he made to destroy the physical evidence was haphazard and led to the discovery of the bunker. I think that Peter was probably nervous at this point and simply didn't take his time to properly destroy everything. Another possibility here is that Peter believed the police would find the bunker either way. He mentioned that in one of his videos. Peter would have been satisfied surviving or not surviving. As long as he was in his bunker, he was happy. Peter had an uncommon mixture of personality traits and mental health symptoms, which facilitated his horrible crime. The primary driver for Peter's behavior was narcissism. His mission was about his own greatness and gratification, not about his fear. Now moving to my final thoughts. The case of Peter Keller can be summarized in this way. In a palpable panic of pending peril, Peter was propelled by a prophetic perception of the apocalypse and perceived his purpose as being a prepper. He painstakingly prepared a protective precinct and a preserve, and plentifully provisioned his palace to persist for a prolonged period. Paving his path with premeditated murders, he positioned himself in his private bunker only to be promptly pursued by the police. Predictably, Peter implemented a prominently more permanent parting plan. Those are my thoughts in the case of Peter Keller. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.